All right, guys. Looks like we're going to be heading into game number 4 in this best of 5 series between FXO.LoWeLy and Acer.MMA. It's going to be on Akalon Flats, one of the newer maps. How's your experience has been on this map, Todd?
Not very good. I feel like it's very easy on this map to turtle on 3 bases or even 4. Um, we remember we saw Turek play on this earlier, and I guess in TvZ it's not going to be nearly as important, but as a Protoss, you really want to be able to drop everywhere with War Prism to keep on putting pressure. And on this map, it's always so difficult. But yeah, in this matchup, I believe this is not going to be too important, except maybe when MMA tries to do a couple drops and lowly, he has a very easy time defending because he can have overlords placed around the place and just defend with infestors.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious if we're going to see Lowly mix it up at all in terms of his later game composition. But spawning in the bottom right position as our blue Terran from Team Acer. He was down 0-2. He's trying to make a comeback now. Took the last game with some really solid macro, I have to say, and good multitasking. He is MMA. And spawning in the top left position, opened 2-0 with a 9 pool and then a Zergling Baneling 2-base attack. He is from FXO Europe, and he is lowly.
And Lodi is going to go for the drone scout here again. He's been doing this in every single game so far. He does not want to be surprised by 2 barracks, which can be a very common thing in a best of 5. When you have a TvZ, a lot of the time a Terran will save 2 barracks for one of the maps. Lowly, he does not want to be surprised a single time here. He's going to scout every single game with a drone. And this time, again, he's going to be able to spot there is no 2 barracks play headed his way from MMA.
Yeah, no, another thing to note is a lot of Korean players really enjoy throwing in the 2 Raxes especially, so Lowly's definitely keeping that in mind with this drone scout. I also like, though, he's been able to do a decent bit of harassing, might be able to pull this SCV off. Barely not, but Lowly's definitely doing damage that he wants to. It's free little bit of damage. He cuts a tiny bit of economy by not having the drone at home, but if he can
Yeah,
make...
he delayed the barracks, that he delayed the orbital, and I think MMA even made an extra SCV because of this.
Yeah, that's a really important thing to note, especially because those mules, that you delay that a little bit, you delay a lot of Terran economy, the backbone really, since Lowly's going to be able to make a good number of drones once he gets his spawning pull up. You get the injects rolling, so the last thing you want to do is have your macro mechanic be delayed at all. But Lowly's going to be going in towards the natural, should see this command center that's gone down, a second supply depot coming in for MMA, and spawning pool finishing up for Lowly. MMA scouts that Lowly took gas once again this game. Do you think he's going to do what he did last game, not be too aggressive with it, or are we going to see a little bit more of game 2 again here?
Okay, I'm actually curious, what do you think Lowly will do here?
I think the ramp going into the natural is really, really big. I feel like it's a really hard ramp to wall off just because there's so much space that if you get by, even if you had like 2 bunkers at this ramp, if you
And
break
as you
it...
say that,
Yeah, he's going to build it next to his command center. That's exactly what I was thinking because, as you say, there's a Roach Warren going down too, and he's building the bunker right next to the command center. So this is what MMA needs to do. Of course, the Roaches will be able to poke the command center from the other side, but... This could have been a lot worse for MMA. Like I was saying, if you build the bunker up the front, it's hard to get a full wall up. If your opponent just breaks it down, then they can just walk by the bunker and they just get into your natural mineral line, force you to lift off, and it can make life really, really hard. MMA is going to be following this up with the factory. The reactor is going down on the barracks. I feel like he's going to want to open Banshee again. I like how he actually took SCVs off of one of the gases in his main. It looks like he's going to go for a fast third orbital command, and that could prove to be disastrous with these 7 Roaches on the way. Could do a lot of damage, moving up to 8 now.
and he's not even putting the Marines, all of them in the bunker. He's keeping 2 of them up his ramp here. How many Roaches do we have on the way here? We have 3 Roaches already out, or 6 Roaches. So this is going to be 2 more, 8 Roaches total, headed for MMA space. Behind this, Lowly is going to start droning like crazy. He only has 20 drones right now against the 27 SCVs of MMA. He's starting speed now, so we should not see any kind of links attack added to this. And MMA is going to start a second bunker. How does he know?
He's sending an
He hasn't-
He's sending an SCV out, but he's actually going to barely miss those roaches. Could be intuition, looking at the gas. He might have realized, hey, this is a map where this build might be a little bit more effective, and the roaches are arriving now. As the Hellions step out, the roaches are going to immediately kill one of the Hellions. MMA going to jump into panic mode. He has a couple of SCVs, but this is more of a gut check build coming out of LoWeLy. The bunker barely, barely not able to defend the ramp, and the roaches are going to break down the supply depot and head into the main base. There are not enough Marines here to kill these roaches. He's going to need to pull SCVs, and MMA is taking a ton of damage here, Todd. This is meant to be a gut check against Terrans that go for triple orbital command, and it looks like this gut check really knocked the wind out of MMA.
And I love this decision of LoWeLy to go up the ramp, break a depot, and force a fight in an open area without the bunkers to help tank all the damage from the roaches. LoWeLy has already killed 17 SCVs. MMA is going to be down to 20 SCVs to 35 drones in this game. And he's in a world of trouble. I mean, he's still fighting against those roaches. In the meantime, he's going to start remaking SCVs from 2 of the orbitals. The third one is being made right now. Still did not get cancelled, but realistically, MMA, he's only at 1 barracks, 1 factory. He hasn't started the starports. He's going to have no tech. He has no eBay. He's just in so much trouble right now. I feel if LoWeLy follows this up with some quick muter plays, he could just finish this game here.
Yeah, it could be absolutely devastating. We're going to have a pause, a LoWeLy, second lag. But going back to what you said, I completely agree. I was a little surprised he didn't try to build a Marauder out of his barracks. He lost a Marine or 2 that were produced during that engagement. So MMA trading not terribly well. Though I will say, with the triple orbital command available to him, he's going to have triple mule. There's no third base for LoWeLy yet. So if he can survive until the later game, he should be able to pull himself back. But like you said, I feel like one of the best ways to finish off a Terran that you've done a lot of damage to, especially with roaches, is Mutalisks, because he could get a Spire and get roach speed, and then you make a bunch of Mutalisks. If MMA manages to scout it and get missile turrets, it's going to cut so much of his economy that he's not going to have defense against more roaches, and LoWeLy's going to be able to bully him around a lot. So it's going to take some really good scouting from MMA and response timing, and as well as decision making to be able to survive this. But we're going to have to see what he wants to put down. It's going to be another infestation pit, and I don't know if I feel like this is the best thing he could have done in terms of finishing this game, simply because Terran's ability to come back with 3 orbital command builds is so great.
Yeah, that's true, but maybe LoWeLy, he's just not accustomed to playing mutas at all. I think he plays infestors every single game against Terran. Probably against Protoss as well. He's not one of those muta guys like Bly, for example, who likes to use muta very often. So he's just going to play his best style here. He's lost a map just before. If he loses this one, this is going to be 2-2, and MMA is going to have a ton of momentum. So he just wants to use what he's best with. And he seems to be scared to go for mutas maybe, or he just thinks that infestors are better in this situation. Maybe he did not judge perfectly where MMA's economy was after the attack.
Yeah, I agree. These Zerglings, however, are going to be chasing some Hellions away. I want to note, though, and this is, I think, really big, because this is the first time in this series that LoWeLy has not opened up or transitioned immediately out of anything in the early game to double evolution chamber. MMA is going to have an upgrade advantage right now. He's about 20 seconds into his 1-1. There are no evolution chambers available for LoWeLy, so he's going to have really delayed upgrades. He has a lair, can't really make any use of it for the upgrades. However, we do have Burrow going, and as we saw in game number 1, those burn infestors can be very dangerous. Double evolution chamber starting now, but MMA is going to be pretty comfortable with his upgrades, I think, to say the least.
Yeah, always nice to be starting some upgrades at least some point in the game. Now it's going to be a bit later than usual, but he's stabilized economy-wise. He's on 49 SCVs to 54 drones, which is okay because he has the mules. And I really want to see MMA throw down the turret. If he wants to have a real chance of winning this game, he's going to have to do it. Since LoWeLy, he always used those burrow, the infestors, to try and do some damage to the economy of his opponent. And LoWeLy starts a very quick hive here. Oh my god. He started this game with such a little economy because of the roach rush.
Ooh, MMA is immediately going to scan that. He's going to see everything except for the Spire. We haven't actually really seen much Broodlord play at all. I don't actually think we've seen a Broodlord in any of these games. So MMA, you can't, of course, know for a fact that he's going to go for this. He was able to snipe the Greater Spire in the last game. If you've seen the Infestor play all 3 games in a row, might assume he's going to go for that Greater Spire tech. But we're going to have to see what exactly he wants to do. This Baneling Nest is going to be so late that I think that the lack of Baneling speed is going to allow MMA to really just keep a map presence. He has the tower on the right side. The creep spread's not quite as far as LoWeLy would want it to be. And I want to note that the supply is actually ahead for MMA now. So LoWeLy not trying to go for a quick follow-up attack. MMA's managed to pull himself back in this game rather nicely, I think.
Yeah, and LoWeLy is going to engage now into the army of MMA. MMA, he does have more supply, but his army supply is actually 45 to 33 right now, but those Infestors are going to be able to do quite some damage. MMA is splitting very well here. He should be able to hold this comfortably after taking the couple losses. He's even going to get some of the Infestors. Oh, 2 of them barely getting away. They're going to burrow, but nice scan here from MMA.
That was very nice play from MMA holding that. A couple Marines by the natural ramp weren't quite in the fight, but Greater Spire's coming in now, Todd.
And I feel like a lot of Zergs, they go to Hive Tech for Broodlords and for Ultralis, but LoWeLy doesn't care. He wants to get his upgrades, he wants to get Adrenal Glands, and that's usually why he goes for Hive. And actually in this game, he's somehow not started Adrenal Glands yet. He's going for Greater Spire very quickly.
I feel LoWeLy took his 3rd base so late that with the triple orbital command, once both players, of course, are saturated on 2 bases, the income's equal. But MMA has access to those triple orbitals earlier on, and that's how he was able to power out such a strong force. He's getting his 2-2 now. We don't actually have 2-2 started yet for LoWeLy, so MMA's going to go for a drop in the main. Should be able to do a bit of damage here, and he might be trying to just pull this force out of position so that he can move in towards the 3rd base with his main army.
And nice transfuse from LoWeLy, not losing anything, but MMA is going to gain ground in the middle of the map. He's going to be able to claim the watchtower for now. He might try to scan and remove some of those creatures. Yes, that's exactly what he does. But LoWeLy, he has a huge army. It looks very big, but MMA, on the paper, he has 80 army supply to 56. LoWeLy right now about to engage, really thinking about it.
And I want to note, there's no Banelings in this composition. There's no Banelings on the field at all for LoWeLy. So he's pure Ling Infestor. He has Baneling speed about halfway done, but this Marine tank force, you need Hive Tech to kill this. Infestor Ling, the only way you're going to be able to beat a Marine tank army is if you have a huge army supply lead. You can get a full surround and do a lot of damage very, very quickly and just swallow up an army with fungal growth. But there are 4 medevacs, there's tanks. The upgrade lead is going to be favoring MMA for quite a while. 2-2 only just started now for LoWeLy, so I feel like LoWeLy doesn't have what he needs to kill this army. He's going to need to get some Banelings, and he's going to need to secure some really nice flanks if he wants to take out this army from MMA.
Yeah, definitely. MMA right now, he's walking on the force base. He has 2-2-1 about to complete, and I think he's just going to push through with it. LoWeLy's only hope if those Broodlords complete, and they can do a lot of work, but there is only 2 of them morphing right now, and I'm fearing the best for LoWeLy. He's down to 133 supply to the 188 of MMA. I feel like he's thinking about engaging, but he realizes every single time when he's about to engage that he does not have enough.
And I think he's starting to realize that 2 Broodlords are not going to be enough to stop this. The Marines will be able to run up and get right onto them. The first Broodlord falls. However, we do have some Banelings moving in now, going to get some not really the greatest hits ever. And the rest of the Broodlords are gone, and these Infestors are going to die as well, along with possibly LoWeLy's hopes for winning this game. MMA looking very strong, and there's the GG. Acer's MMA manages to tie this series 2-2, coming back from 0-2. Really, really solid play by MMA, coming back from losing 17 SCVs in the first 10 minutes of this game, Todd.
Yeah, man. I'm as surprised as you are, but I feel Infestors were definitely the wrong choice here, or at least not played the way LoWeLy did it.
Yeah, I really, as I was saying, I'm like, man, I really wanted to just try to pressure with Mutalisks, take advantage of the lead that you have, but he went for Infestors on 2 base, and I think even if he had just immediately gotten a 3rd and then went Infestors, it still would have been better because he would have been able to afford more than 2 Broodlords when he got his Hive. It just seemed like LoWeLy he stuck in this pattern of repeating himself in terms of his build, but I definitely feel like with the damage he did, he could have switched things up very easily. But all right, guys, we're going to go into a quick break before we go to game number 5, I believe. This is the first match of today between FXO.LoWeLy and Acer's MMA. Up next will be In Control versus MMA, I believe. So it's 2-2 right now. So this is actually going to be the last game of this match. And we'll see you guys right after the break.